Another major victory in our mission to deliver great health care at a price that you can afford. We're requiring price transparency in health care, forcing companies to compete for your business. Our goal was to give patients the knowledge they need about the real price of health care services. They'll be able to check them, compare them, go to different locations, so they can shop for the highest quality care at the lowest cost.
Oh, wow, this is something people have been talking about for years. Get transparency in pricing. And President Trump, he's doing it. Releasing his big plan, it will overturn the health sector. It would force hospitals and insurers for the first time to disclose their secret negotiated prices to patients. Blake Berman is at the White House with more. Blake.
Amid the impeachment hearings up on Capitol Hill, over here at the White House, part of the strategy is to try to show that the president is taking on issues that matter to the voters. Today, the administration announced a final rule tackling health care price transparency. Starting in 2021, hospitals will have to make public the rates they negotiate with insurers. The administration is also proposing a new rule that would force insurers to post costs and negotiated rates online. President Trump says this will lead to lower prices and comparison shopping.
Our goal was to give patients the knowledge they need about the real price of health care services. They'll be able to check them, compare them, go to different locations, so they can shop for the highest quality care at the lowest cost.
The administration has been rolling out more targeted health care items just like this instead of rolling out a large-scale health care plan. Keep in mind, though, that the president during his campaign ran on the idea of repealing and replacing Obamacare, which, of course, as we know, did not come to fruition. Liz?
Blake Berman, great to see you. Let's bring in GDP advisors and healthcare expert Seth Denson. Seth, this is a big sea change. A lot of presidents have wanted to do this, the president moving forward on it.
That's exactly right, Liz, and it's something we've been advocating for years, right? The American consumer is the strongest piece of our economic system, and if the American consumer has the power and the information, it can move the market. And with the rising cost of healthcare being what it is today, it's done so in large part because the American consumer, quite frankly, just doesn't have the information. This rule will help that.
You know, you go to the emergency room, it's like $1,000 for a Band-Aid, and that money, that charge hits insurance plans to cover the expense of people who are not on insurance. This can really overturn things. You don't like, though, that the fine, the big stick to enforce it, is too small. Is that a problem, Seth?
It is. I mean, let's be real. The penalty that's been proposed by the administration is $300 a day for noncompliance. That's just a drip in the. That's not even a drip in the bucket. I mean, $300 is nothing to these hospital systems. So I would like there to be a bigger fine just so we can see more movement. I am anxious to see if hospitals do comply, though, and I think there'll be some pressure from the consumer for them to do so. And if they do, we could actually start to see the markets move.
All right. We don't know if this was a coincidence or if Elizabeth Warren, purposely dropped her plan within hours of the president announcing his transparency plan. Her plan, when we read through it about what she will do if she's elected president, how she would roll out her government takeover health care, she's going to do it over 3 years. We read through the plan. I didn't find anything new there. What did you think?
No, I didn't see anything really glaring either. I mean, let's be clear. Elizabeth Warren is just trying to take a really expensive system and give it away for free instead of giving the consumer the power to move it again. And I think that's the real driver here. We have to balance the scale of driving down costs while not wrecking a sixth or a seventh of our U.S. economy. And the consumer can do that. But the federal government, by price fixing and taking control or giving it out for free, that doesn't do anything to cost.
You know, to your point, the Small Business Council, small businesses are the engine of the U.S. economy. They're saying, Elizabeth Warren, you're going to destroy small businesses with your plan. Your take on that?
Well, that's exactly right, because regardless of how many trillions we're saying that it is today, or Elizabeth Warren is saying that it is today, she's proposing that that's going to be paid for through new employment taxes. And so when you take this piece of the financial market and you shift that over to employers, that's going to impact wages, it's going to impact job growth, it's going to impact the overall P&L. And so that is going to have a massive impact to employers throughout the United States.
And we read through her plan. She wants to empower the IRS to search for $2.3 trillion from stronger enforcement of the tax laws. Seth, I don't know if you're aware, I've covered the IRS for a very long time for places like the Wall Street Journal. What Elizabeth Warren wants would double the size of the IRS and put more of an onus on them. They're not some denatured, agency. They're stacked with human beings. They don't like it when Congress fiddles with the tax law and does things like this, turning them into more than tax collectors.
Well, that's exactly right. I've had multiple conversations with IRS agents throughout the years, and what they'll tell me oftentimes is that there's, we'll call it legislative things that people in suits in Washington's propose, but they don't realize the practical application of implementing them. And that is a big challenge. It's a challenge to the IRS. It's a challenge to the employer who's trying to figure out how to navigate the system.
Yeah, let me clarify. The IRS have told me they don't like having to enforce year after year the upheaval in hobby horse policies that is put on them. They're just they just want to be tax collectors. That's what they've told me. Seth, great to see you.